My name is Justin Rydell from the Great Searchers Project.
My name is Madison Morton. I'm an independent singer and songwriter from the Washington, D.C. area. Justin and I have been mutuals online in the indie music space.
Here We Go Again started off as an instrumental called Song 51. So I had the song mostly put together, but I didn't know what I wanted to say. I couldn't come up with a lyrical melody that worked, and so the song just sort of sat semi-finished on my hard drive for a while. Madison and I had worked on a cover of Tracy Chapman's For My Lover. She's got an amazing voice, she's a very talented musician and songwriter, and I thought, I wonder if she'd be interested in working on this song.
He said we'd worked together previously on a cover, so I was really excited when he said he wanted to collaborate again on an original this time. My music takes huge inspiration from both the 90s and early 2000s. I also definitely tend to lean towards the melancholy, so when I first listened to Here We Go Again, at the time it was Song 51, I was immediately drawn to it. I could already hear the melody. I was really excited to write for a track that was a little heavier rock than what I tend to write, because I love pushing myself outside of my boundaries to make something that I previously may not have made before if I was just creating something by myself.
Song 51 originally started off as a riff on E minor. Once I had that, I needed a chord progression to go along with it. For the bass part, I have this EHX Oceans 11 reverb pedal that I ran the bass guitar through.
Guitar really inspired this idea of being stuck in a vicious cycle. I really wanted to work with the idea of breaking patterns or not breaking patterns, so that's where the core idea of Here We Go Again came from. I really wanted to lean into the cinematic sort of production of the song, as well as that sort of like dark melancholy feeling. Not only that, the song also gave me this sort of almost mystical vibe to it.
When I got to the chorus, I wanted to do something kind of fun with the bass guitar, so I just hung around the pentatonic scale. For the chorus, the riff I used, I always jokingly think of it as the Gin Blossoms riff, because it kind of reminds me of Found Out About You by Gin Blossoms, but that wasn't my intention when I was first playing around with it. Throughout this entire EP, I've been using lots of inverted chords. So you'll see that kind of repeated a lot. The last part of the song is a guitar solo. And since it's in the key of E minor, I was just playing around with various fingerings around the 7th fret. I wanted the guitar solo to sound kind of sloppy, like it was sort of reaching like a peak and falling apart and nothing was quite pretty. I just played around with different various combinations, loudly and fastly and with kind of abandon, as the song kind of reached the end and whatever was happening kind of fell apart. So it sounded a little bit like this. And the rest of the song was pretty much finished, including some transition pre-chorus. So I reached out to her.
The first thing that really stood out to me, the guitar solos. I wanted to incorporate something sort of supernatural or ethereal feeling to match with the reverb in the track that I could also build upon with some layering in the vocals. I'm a big fan of using lots of harmonies and different vocal layers to tell a story.
Something in the song resonated with her. That was super exciting. I think she said it kind of reminded her of like a 90s movie soundtrack song. And I remember bringing up the Empire Records soundtrack. I mean, there's some songs on it that aren't that great, but there are some amazing songs on the Empire Records soundtrack.
First sort of lyrical idea that I wanted to build upon is this idea as above, so below, to kind of lean into that like mystical element of things, and also sort of the idea that things are on earth as they are in heaven, or vice versa. But instead of having things be as above, so below, I sort of wanted to flip it and have it be as below, so above. That way it could sort of stand out from like that old adage, but also it was more of a representation of the negative, things down below being represented up above here on earth in our daily lives, and sort of lean into that idea of vicious cycles and unhealthy habits, relationships, and patterns.
So at that point, she sent me her first list of sample lyrics, and I was just floored because it was really the content and the stories that I was feeling when I was writing these songs musically. I was like, wow, she got that from that, and I know she was putting her own experiences and emotions into it, but I was like, wow, this is exactly where I want this song to go. So I was super excited. And then she sent me her first sort of rough lyrical demo of a melody, and I was like, right on, this is perfect.
So that first verse starts, stolen from my body, no air in my lungs. So right off the bat, you really start with that helpless feeling. I really also liked the idea of something being both harsh and beautiful at the same time. The song, even though it leans a little more rock than I tend to write for, it also has that ethereal, beautiful element to it. That's kind of what these situations can often feel like. They can often feel both positive and negative. At the end of the first verse, I wrote, "Your words cut so softly, drained of all bad blood." That idea where one good word from somebody who's hurt us can erase everything from the past. From the outside, it can often seem like we're digging our own graves in these situations, and wouldn't it be just so easy to leave and to change? But for the right or wrong person, we're often willing to overlook those things. Therefore, you get the as below, so above line, where we create sort of our own hell on earth because something is so harshly beautiful and painful, and yet something just keeps us coming back to it.
Stolen from my body, nowhere in my lungs. You took what's left of me after all you've done. Your words cut so softly, drained of all bad blood, leaving just the memories as below, so above.
So I really wanted to make use of repetition in the lyrics. So in the chorus, that's why you just mostly get that repetition. Here we go again, my love. I also wanted to instill this sort of feeling, a loss of control in the story that I was telling. When we are in these situations, often we feel like, why is this happening to me? Even though it's often our own actions, right? But I really wanted it to feel like, oh, I'm in this situation, but I had no choice, which it often feels like in love, right? On the chorus, I really kind of built upon that idea. So I wrote, if we both pretend, we can sweep it under the rug. So again, forgetting all of the bad for one moment of good.
Here we go again, my love. If we both pretend, we can sweep it under the rug. Here we go again, here we go again. Here we go again, my love. Standing at the edge, waiting for the other to jump. Here we go again, here we go again.
In the second verse, I kind of move on from that idea of trying to place blame anywhere else but yourself, and really kind of come to terms with the fact that we are causing our own hurt at the end of the day. We are the ones perpetuating all of these unhealthy cycles a lot of the time. So the second verse starts off, hurting my own feelings just to find the cause. I kind of expand upon the idea of those good small moments feeling so addictive that you're willing to sweep everything else under the rug. And a lot of the time, these unhealthy relationships can feel really addictive. It's like, why can't I break out of this? It's so bad for me. And yet we just crave that little bit of validation and hope. So that's where the line, broken by addiction to something that I'm not, because we often force ourselves to fit into these molds to make something work when it just doesn't seem to be working.
Hurting my own feelings just to find the cause. master of denying, to revive what was broken by addiction to something that I'm not. You've got me conditioned to be everything you want.
Then I get to the bridge, and I really want to separate the bridge from the rest of the song. You kind of see this moment of clarity and self-awareness. The bridge goes, I can let it go, give you all control, but I need to know, are you going to leave me in the cold? You know, sort of that tale as old as time, almost coming to your senses, but wanting to give it that one last chance and to just give in and see what happens. Just being on that cliff's edge, like I talk about. But, you know, just like in the chorus, I say, standing on the edge, waiting for the other to jump. You know, there's always that one piece holding you back, and maybe you are waiting for that other person to take that step so that you don't have to.
I can let it go, give you all control, but I need to know, are you gonna leave me in the cold?
She and I went back and forth a few times on sort of the overall arrangement of the songs, but I was absolutely thrilled with how it came together.
And then one thing that I really thought was cool about the song, instead of going from the bridge to a final chorus, we actually go into a third final verse and then into the final chorus. The final verse has this sort of feeling of determination. It goes, you can act indifferent, you can hit and run, you can leave me hanging. Setting with the sun, I'd still beg on my knees, I'd still be the one. You can keep on fighting, but the war's already won. So it's this idea of resignation into the cycle, acknowledging all of the unhealthy and really ignoring it, ignoring the red flags and giving into it. Therefore, here we go again, back into the chorus. I tend to worry that my songs are overly long and that I write too much, so I was really excited that this song was the length that it was, because it really allowed me to tell the full story without worrying about a time limit. And I think that it's a perfect example of the messaging of the song, that if you do ignore all of these red flags, you know, you are going to be stuck in that cycle again and again and again, and it's just going to keep going. So the song just repeats, here we go again, here we go again, here we go again, until the end. And there's really no solid resolution, which, you know, there isn't always in life. So all in all, it really is sort of a melancholic message, but I wanted to write something that was real and something that I had experienced in my own life before, and I thought that this was the perfect song to really write about that idea of vicious cycles. And I was really grateful to Justin for allowing me to write over this track.
Madison was absolutely amazing to work with. She's a very talented musician, vocalist, and songwriter, and I was just so excited that she was willing to work on this song with me.
Such a special song, and the production was fantastic, and I'm so pleased with the way it turned out. So hopefully you all enjoy the song. All I ever hope at the end of the day with my writing is that some people can find relatability to it and find some sort of solace or peace in that. And I hope that we accomplished that with this song. So a huge shout out to Justin, the Grey Searchers, for including me on this project. It's been super fun and super cathartic to write this song, and I couldn't be more pleased with how it turned out.
So that's how we ended up with the song, Here We Go Again.